Ken Miller, what a pleasure it is to have you here on this Heads Up Billings show.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Dave.
Yeah. I think you were on, let's see, one time before.
Yes, indeed.
In fact, it was the day you filed.
I believe it was, yeah, which is about a year ago.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing.
It is amazing how fast it's gone by. There's been a lot of miles driven since then.
Yeah. Well, you don't look any older.
Well, that's good.
And I don't think you've grown any, but it's a little hard to tell.
So far, of course, I haven't measured for a while, but I'm not shrinking either, so that's...
What are you, about 5'18", 5'19"?
Yep, right in there. Yeah. Exactly right.
Mm-hmm. You have lost some weight.
Well, yeah, maybe a pound or two here, but I haven't changed much.
You haven't changed much, huh?
From the time I got out of high school and actually gained a few pounds from being this little stick that I was to... Peggy put on a few pounds. I think after we got married, she fed me well to where I could put on a few pounds, but since then I haven't done too much more. She still feeds me very well, but...
You put in long hours.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, we're on the road a lot, putting in 14, 16 hours of hard campaigning every day, but I did that when I was working as well, and I'm still doing that along the sideline. But I like working, I love it, and I see myself doing that as long as my health allows me.
Sure, yeah. Well, I kind of wonder after this period of Democratic, should we say, holding the executive position, are things kind of messed up? I mean, I've been looking at it a little bit, and I've been thinking, Governor Schweitzer has a way of tooting his horn that makes him sound pretty good. Yeah. Do you think he's done a good job so far, or moderate? Or?
No, I have a real problem with the job that he's done, and both on a federal and a state level, I think this country and state is about to go over a cliff, and we have a few short months, maybe a year or two, to turn things around, or I just see an economic, particularly collapse within the nation, and this state is not much better. The governor has been very good at politics. He's very good at saying one thing and either not getting it done or accomplishing something else. Case in point, when he campaigned, he was very pro-natural resource development, as am I. Walked around with a jar of black water, liquid coal, and was going to do all these great things, and we've not seen it because he then appointed to the departments that allow those to move forward, those projects, some of the most radical environmentalists that have been very successful in shutting down our natural resource development. And it's just, to me, a shame. It doesn't need to be that way, Dave. Yeah. North Dakota, there's somewhere around 200 drilling rigs in the Bakken. We're somewhere around 10. Yeah. We have the same oil over here. And it takes them about 30 days to permit a well. Here it takes nearly a year. I mean, that's just some of the issues. And those are the things that the governor can have a huge impact on. Fiscally, the governor has said that he's fiscally conservative, but in reality, we have increased spending in Montana by huge amounts, depending on which checkbook you kind of look at. I like to take all dollars, all total government spending, and we're nearing 80% increase over the last 6 years. Wow. That's not fiscally responsible. Even if you use just the smaller checkbook, the state's checkbook, we're at 40% increase over the last 6 years. That's not sustainable. There's nothing fiscally conservative about that. Our public retirement program, we're $3 billion short. Those are similar numbers per capita that Wisconsin is dealing with and getting so much national attention. Again, the can has been kicked down the road for somebody else to deal with. I want to be that governor that deals with those issues, and we'll stand up strong and do so. Yeah.
Wow. That's good. What do you, we've got a problem with the feds interfering with our state. The Constitution gives us rights to be able to say to the Fed, hey, that's our right to do this. How would you defend the 10th Amendment?
Strongly. Again, with that backbone, you know, all of the Constitution. I consider myself a constitutionalist. I think that's our foundation. We must not allow that to become weak, and we need to, because that is our foundation. And the 10th Amendment, along with the Second Amendment and the First Amendment, I mean, all of them are very important. And the 10th Amendment is the power of the states. Our founding fathers recognized that federal government should not be in control of but a few things, security of the nation being the main one. And from there, it should be up to the states to make the decisions. A few of them, the one I talk about a lot is the wolf issue. It should be Montana that decides how many, if any, wolves continue to survive in this state after they leave Yellowstone Park. And instead, we have out-of-state, out-of-country many times, having an influence on how many wolves we have. And they're devastating our elk populations, they're devastating our moose, cattle operations, and again, it's because of the federal government implanting a much bigger, much more aggressive wolf into our state that we now have to deal with. State land takeovers or land takeovers by the federal government. You know, I just came down from the High Line, and up there, of course, the big issue is taking more monument lands of the Missouri Breaks area, takes more restrictions against the landowners in that area. We cannot allow federal government to continue down that path. And then, of course, the Obamacare issue, it should be, again, Montanans that decide what kind of health care, what kind of insurance that we should be having. And I go so far, I support nullification, to where a state can tell the federal government, no, we're nullifying this this legislation of yours, and we as a state can do that. And I will stand up solid and fight for that opportunity. And Dave, I can't do that alone. One, I need the legislature, which I believe is there, but two, we need other states. And that's where I'm excited to work with the other states. I mean, can you imagine, we should have had a governor, when Governor Brewer in Arizona stood up to the federal government and said no to the illegal immigration, we should have been there with her, but we weren't. Had we been, she'd be standing here with us on the issues that I just talked about. And so I'm excited. We're seeing some awesome governors elected in states, particularly in the West, to start working a coalition with them. Governor Otter in Idaho, and even Governor Christie over in New Jersey, and to start standing up and taking our country back and restoring what is so great. I mean, I'm just so optimistic. I think that we can once again become that shining light in the world of the nation that everybody looks to, that is so strong. And we're not at that point now.
Well, we're sure not. And it's not just been the last 8 years either.
No.
You know, we've been hurting. The economic thing, it seems like our government seems to have a no attitude to any kind of growth.
Right.
And I don't understand that. We've got organizations like PERC that let's face it, these guys are green, but they are free market green, and which means that it's okay to make money off property. It's okay to open your property to hunting and fishing, and even charge for it, and maybe serve sandwiches. You know, I mean.
Absolutely. Well, I think, I don't know about you, but I'm green. I like clean water. I like clean air. I enjoy the outdoors. I haven't run into anybody yet that's not, so we're all environmentalists. But we can have that clean water and clean air and still drill the oil, mine the coal, cut the trees. I mean, when you're talking forestry, our forests are healthier when we have our guys in there cutting the timber and cleaning it up. When we prune it. Exactly right. Creates tremendous jobs, creates tremendous tax base. And we benefit. And you're right. I mean, it hasn't just been the last 8 years. It hasn't just been the Democrats.
That's right.
Republicans have been there, and we're going in with Republican leadership, we've been heading towards this socialized, more socialized, less free market direction. And I don't understand it, because this country became the most powerful, the most prosperous in a short 200 years with what our founding fathers gave us. Why do we want to walk away from that? I don't understand it. So we need elected statesmen that will stand up, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter, but they got to stand up and take on the big challenges, and the people need to embrace that in order for us